I say to you, before you accuse me and this movement of being advocates of hate, I want to first ask you, who taught you to hate? Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose or the size of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head down to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so you don't even want to be around each other. Oh yeah. So I say and I say again, you've been had, you've been took, bamboozled, led astray, run amok. You've been hoodwinked.
More black men in jail or in college?
Jail.
More black men in jail or in college?
In jail.
Are there more black men in jail or in college?
Jail.
What percent of black boys drop out of high school?
25. 80. Percentage of black boys that drop out of high school?
Drop out of high school.
I want 55.
Ten black men. Of those 10, what percent are gay, bisexual, or on the down low?
I'm gonna go with half.
What's the ratio of women to men on Howard?
Like 18-1.
Hold on, I'm not done. 65 to 35. With 25% of that 35 being homosexual. So,
What's the ratio of women to men on Howard University?
Ooh, too many.
Name a positive stereotype about black people. We can run, jump, and dance and sing.
Name a positive stereotype about black people.
Positive stereotype about black people. Can't really think of one.
Just let me read this. Let me tell you, because I got this. And this is somebody who actually wrote this. For over 400 years, the majority society has used many tools to reinforce a message that the peoples of African descent are less than, not equal to, or not good enough. In this era of modern era of information, the media, the government, and special interests use statistics to further promote the message of black inferiority. That's what this gentleman is saying. What troubles him the most is that we have internalized the misinformation, embrace the myths, and perpetuate the stereotypes, sadly reinforcing a collective misperception of our own identities, which led this gentleman to make a movie called Hoodwinked. And this is his second film. He's doing this too often in our Discord. Well, let me just read something else here. And he says, yeah, hey, this is a bunch of, it's really good. But then the question is, why? And let me tell you where the statistics from. These came from the latest census, the Department of Education, the Department of Justice, and other government agencies reporting social, economic, and racial data. And the gentleman who says, I'm gonna tell you his name, James Morton. He's putting this film together. He says, this challenge to you is, as a black American, if a celebrity gets caught cheating on their spouse, you head right to the local internet search engine to fact check. He says, the next time you hear any data or statistics about blacks anywhere, be just as diligent in your search to confirm or dismiss the story. Because as I see it, the ratings, the notoriety, and the funding will always promote the negative statistics
Well, that's what I'm
about,
thinking.
and that's what you were saying.
So I've been busy, and this is what got me famous. The page down, Claire. One question. Are there more black men in jail or in college? Go back a page, please. What hurts me to my heart is that I'm a one-man operation. I do a lot of media. The Washington Post has reported this. The LA Times has reported. Where did Ebony magazine go? I was in Ebony magazine. Black men. That's me right there. I'm serious. Ebony. It's in there. It's more black men in jail. I mean, more black men in college. Ooh, I almost messed up on film. Woo.
Are there more black men in jail or in college?
In jail.
Okay, more black men in jail or in college?
Jail. I'd say jail.
In jail. I would have to say probably in jail.
In jail.
In jail.
In jail.
Jail.
In jail.
Are there more black men in jail or in college?
Jail.
Jail.
In jail.
Probably jail.
Why y'all say jail?
I mean, look at the campus.
Right.
Because this is an HBCU. There's like a lot of more girls on this campus. The ratio is like, what is it, 13 to
1.
It's some small number. So there's a lot more girls here than it is guys. And then even at the predominantly white colleges, there aren't a lot of African American males.
Why you say college?
I don't know. I just feel like there's more in college in jail, man.
You're the only person today who got it right.
You got it right?
The only one, thank you.
I say college because these statistics that the media portrays, they're not real. They're not they're not getting everybody together. The general population is not everybody that they tested. So I say college.
And now, the news you can trust. The Black News Network.
Good evening. I'm Sean Jackson.
And I'm Micah Davis. And here's the news. More black men in prison today than were enslaved in 1850. Black men in the United States face a far more dire situation than is portrayed by common employment and education statistics. More black men live in prison cells than in college dorms. Black males lagging diplomas. Grim graduation rates for black males highlight racial gap. Researchers say black male college students deserve national priority. According to a recent report, only 26% of black males between 25 and 34 have an associate's degree.
Anything that you see in the movie, this is an actual reporter. This is a reported headline. Do you see what they're saying? How much negative stuff is on this screen? Remember I told you about the number of hours? How much negative stuff about black men is on this screen? One, you're a slave. See that? This is what they put on, and y'all don't even catch this stuff half the time. Two, there's a cradle to prison pipeline. Black men are disproportionately and statistically incarcerated. This is the one that you got to watch. 32% of black males born in 2001 can expect that. Who comes up with that? They're saying in 18 years, 30 y'all gonna go. Who can make that estimate? Who's got that crystal ball? Does that make sense? It's a forecasting. But if you hear her language as well, it's just over for the black man. So when I stand before you and say there are more black men in jail or in college, about half y'all still gonna say jail. This is what you've been eating.
My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I am a professor at Syracuse University. I'm the founder of the Your Black World Coalition. I am a scholar of finance as well as what some would call a black social commentarian, if you will. And I'm also an advocate for education. You know, media can take a small reality and make it into a big one and make us think something is more pervasive than it actually is. Make us think that it's systemic when it's actually idiosyncratic to the situation. And I think that an example would be if you live in a neighborhood where you're watching the news every night, and every night they're showing you a murder that happened in a city of 100,000 people. So if you're seeing a murder every single day, you might be led to believe that there's a lot more crime and a lot more violence than there actually is, or because you don't know the conditions under of any of this information you're receiving, and it's sort of being self-selected for you. And so what happens with black men that's so interesting is that there is certainly a degree of self-selection. It's easiest for a black man to get on TV if he's dribbling a basketball, throwing a football, singing, dancing, rapping, acting, blinging, balling, committing a crime, flossing, shining, whatever, doing something ridiculous, engaging in either coonery and buffoonery, or some sort of athletic endeavor, or some sort of heinous crime, right? And so what's interesting though is that life imitates art. We know that, and art imitates life as well. But but what can happen, unfortunately, is these images, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, if you will. We see the image, we see Lil Wayne with a mouthful of diamonds and acting just like a complete ass. And a million little boys imitate that because he has then promoted a lifestyle and a set of choices. And therefore, it becomes true that you have X number of black men who are affiliated with gangs or affiliated with self-destructive behavior because they're emulating what they've seen on television. So I think that, but I think your point is very clear about there being a silent majority where there are millions and millions of black men who are simply normal people that love their children, that behave ethically, that want to get educated, that want to pursue excellence, that are hardworking, responsible individuals. And I think that's and I think that's a reality that a lot of people understand. Anybody who spends time around African Americans, they know that not every black man is like the man they saw on television. But unfortunately, that's the image that gets missed. Nobody really sees that.
Right there, see that little thing right there? That's Nielsen. Nielsen knows what you do. Why? Why does Nielsen want to know what you do? Answer. Anybody? Anybody? Why does Nielsen? Nielsen tracks how much television time. Why do they want to know? Statistics. Ratings. What's your name? Brittany. Love you for the rest of the night, Brittany. What is ratings? What does ratings equal? Money. They want to know what you consume. Page down. They know how much time you spend on a smartphone. They know how much time you spend on TV. They know how much time you even read magazines. They know everything about you. By the end of the day, through your teenage years, 10 hours and 45 minutes, in front of the boob tube, in front of the smartphone, on the internet, playing Xbox, all that stuff. Got it? How many hours between the ages of 13 and 19 have you consumed? Next page. Oh no, this is not what's going to blow your mind. The question is what's going to blow your mind. All that time you spend in front of the boob tube and all that other stuff, anybody, name me one positive statistic about black people.
Name a positive stereotype about black people in general.
I don't know any. A positive stereotype? Wow.
A positive stereotype about black folks? Let me see a positive one.
A positive stereotype? I don't know what I can think of. A positive stereotype about black people?
So your question to me is name a positive stereotype about black people, and I have to think about it. And that's pretty sad.
Give me a positive stereotype about black people.
We're good at football and basketball and every sport that we play.
Name a positive stereotype about blacks.
We can jump. I have no idea.
I was pretty much thinking the same thing he said. We always go to church on Sunday.
We can run, jump, and dance and sing.
Oh, I don't know. What do we even have? Is there any positive stereotypes about black people out there?
That blacks are athletic?
Yeah, athletics. That's it. We can jump high, we can run fast. That's
positive stereotype about black people.
They're well endowed.
Name a positive stereotype about Asians.
We seem to think that they're skilled at math.
It's a positive stereotype about Asian.
Usually smart people.
Positive
really
stereotype about Hispanic people.
You could say they're hard workers.
So name a positive stereotype about Asian people.
Oh, they're smart.
Give me a positive stereotype about Asian people.
They're intelligent. Would that be like how they're always supposed to be smarter than...
No. Name a positive stereotype about Asians.
A positive stereotype. And good in math and science.
Unfortunately, yes. That's the stereotype, that they're very smart.
They make all A's. You see how it just came to me like that? But black people, you have to think. Like,
yeah.
That's horrible.
That's really Name a positive stereotype about Asian people.
Smart.
Name a positive stereotype about Hispanic.
I don't have, you're asking the wrong person because...
Name a positive stereotype about Asians.
About Asians? They're smart. They're intelligent.
Name a positive stereotype about Hispanics.
They work hard.
Now, the two y'all just named, if a whole group is smart, they build wealth. If a whole group works hard, they build wealth. Being well endowed and being religious don't build wealth. Name a positive stereotype about black people that builds wealth.
Well, we've always been good at sports.
That's individual.
Yeah.
Ooh. Dang, that is a hard question.
I feel like I'm put on the spot.
I mean, I guess we can say there's stereotypes about all types of things. I don't exactly, can you restate your question? I don't understand exactly what you're trying to say.
That's a good question. There really isn't none.
Dude, you caught me off guard. Positive stereotype? That's a hard one.
We can't, to be honest with you.
We got our priorities mixed up.
We just have physical gifts that we don't use.
I know it's really sad, but like, I honestly can't really think of any. I feel like most of them are negative. We have a stronger immune system. Boom.
Stereotype?
Positive stereotype. I don't know. That's not a stereotype. But it's true though. We do. But stereotype? There aren't any positive stereotypes for black people. And
we do hair? We do good hair? I don't know. You gotta think. But I wouldn't.
My name is Dr. Mark Lamont Hill. I'm a professor at Columbia University, Teachers College. And I study black males, masculinity. I write about politics. I'm an editor for the Philadelphia Daily News and the host of Our World with Black Enterprise. Well, it makes our job that much harder. You know, when you have black folk who have internalized white supremacy, some of the biggest white supremacists you'll meet are black folk. So when you have that kind of a message internalized, it makes it harder to do the work of fighting the stuff out there. Because if you've internalized your enemy, you'll be a better enemy to yourself than anyone else can be to you. I'm not ignoring the real structural issues that are out there in the world. I know they exist. I devote much of my life to fighting them. You know, I'm a hardcore left-wing activist, you know. However, in my activist work and in my organizing work, I sometimes can get frustrated by how our people, who I love deeply, don't love themselves deeply and don't believe that it is even possible that we can get beyond this moment or that we can get beyond these statistics. And as Howard Thurman said, they've scaled down their dreams to the level of that which is their immediate experience. In other words, they've become prisoner to an event or a circumstance or a moment. Yeah, we gotta move past that. And until we do, the work that needs to be done outside can't get done because we haven't even organized inside.
This kind of thing about all your questions makes me think one question is,
you know, which image of black males do you see most on television all the time? Because, yeah, we might not know these numbers. The numbers could be one way or another. It almost, what's more important is what we believe in it. You know, I mean, it could be 90, it could be way, you know, thousands more brothers in you know, educational institutions than prison. But do we see that? Is that reflected in what we see? Because if it's not reflected in what we see, then it really don't matter.
Good point. Good point. Are there more black men in prison or in college?
The belief is there are more black men in prison than there are in college.
DC.
I don't think there are more black men in prison than in college. I would go as far as to say no.
The Irving.
I think there are more black men capable of going to college.
That's not what I asked you. I said more in college or in prison.
I think there are more black men. Oh man, Dr. Marshall, here you go, but prison.
All right. Next question. All right. I'm not gonna give you answers. Oh, you comment? Hey.
Obviously, I don't know. I don't know the numbers, but if I had to, I can tell you what I hear all the time.
What do you hear?
More brothers in the pen than anywhere else in the world. That's what I hear all the time.
Well, let me say this from a biblical perspective. I mean, Proverbs 18:21, death and life are in the power of the tongue. And if you confess, one of every three of you all are going to jail, then you just put the nail into the coffin. Why don't we say what the stat says? The stat says one of every three of you are going to college. I mean, that's what destroyed Malcolm. I mean, Malcolm X. When Mr. Ostrowski told Malcolm, you can't be a lawyer, why don't you be a carpenter? Now, Malcolm was a brilliant 8th grade honor roll student, and the words of a teacher converted a scholar to a drug dealer. And it was the words of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that turned Detroit Red into Malcolm X. I'm Dr. Jawanza Kanjifu. I'm an author and educational consultant. I've written several books on black males, countering the conspiracy to destroy black boys, raising black boys, keeping black boys out of special education, understanding black male learning styles, and reducing the black male dropout rate. State of emergency, we must save African American males. Adam, where are you? Why most black men don't go to church, and developing strong black male ministries. That's a mouthful. And those are just the books on black males. Well, I want to stop there a moment. Okay. I want to commend you for being a breath of fresh air with regards to your positive scholarship. It's unfortunate that the way we seem to operate, if it bleeds, it leads. You know, this notion of don't confuse me with the facts. So over the years, you've been the one putting it out there that there are more African American males in college than in prison. Now, you get a lot more fanfare if you say there's more black men in prison than there are in college. Well, you were that lightning rod that brought us back to reality, that there are 1.2 million plus African American males in college, 841,000 African American males in prison. I mean, what's more unfortunate is when our professionals, when our advocates feel the same way and would not want to share your information. Like I said, when I received your information, I had to ask myself, now, do I want to continue, you know, to say how many African American males are in prison, or do I now contrast that with the fact that there's now a larger number? And when I got the information, I called Ivory, I went to the data, I wanted to make sure it was legit, and it is. 1.2 million in college, 841,000 in prison. Let me go further. You've also said it's unfair to compare this prison population of all age range to the college population, which is primarily, you know, give or take, 18 to 25 years of age. So without your input, this would have been an unbalanced discussion, and we'd have continued to hear this notion more in prison than in college. So I think you need a lot of support, and you need to be commended for your research of making that real clear. The problem with black research is that it operates from what's called the deficit model. Basically, I look at you and say, you have a problem. and you have the same problem, and you got that problem, you got that problem, you got that problem, and everybody's got this problem, like dropout. You understand? So from my sales background, what I do is I come in and I find a crack on the wall, like this. I make you believe that it's the Grand Canyon, and then I sell you the bridge so you can get across. That's the way the game works. Let me give you a more graphic example. If I sit in front of you and tell you there are more white corporations, there's more black men in college than in jail, do I get checks? Oh. If I say there's more black men in jail or in college, do I get checks? Yeah. I get boatloads of money. Do you understand? That's deficit model. So the people who are working around activism for black women and black men are starting off with, you got a problem.
Well, the deficit model is when you look at risk factors, and that becomes a basis for all of your strategies. So if I have 100 young black males, I'm going to think about the percent of them that might go into the juvenile justice system, or the percent of them that don't have fathers in their homes. And I'm only going to look at the things that will hold them back, and I use that as a way to, and I'm talking about people who use it, they think they're doing the right thing. My name is Ivory Tosin. I'm Associate Professor of Counseling Psychology at Howard University School of Education. I'm Editor-in-Chief of the Journal of Negro Education, and I'm Senior Research Analyst for the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation. We have philosophical differences about what it takes, but this is what they believe. They believe that if they take all the negative stats and know that, and talk about that with the kids that they're working with, then both them and the kids will be motivated to beat the odds. That's how they feel about it. And so people who believe that way, one thing that they do is they tend to not really focus on anything positive. They don't really see a use for that. They focus on all the negative. They tend to be skeptical about anything that doesn't show young black men in a bad light, because they have fed their own spirit and mind with the worst. And so they become skeptical about anything good. And so, that's what they use in order to try to push the young black males to be better. Now, someone who takes a strength focus, what they do is they try to look for resilience. They try to look for the positivity. They try to look for, what are the aspects of this group that will launch them to do their best, and they tend to not focus so much on the deficits, because, people who believe more like me in the strength models, they believe that when you oversell the worst, it can seep into the spirit of these young kids, and on a subconscious level, they might doubt their own abilities. And I think that that's something that's dangerous.
Name a positive stereotype about black people.
Black people are physically strong. Black people are the inventors of, I really don't know.
This is the study that says black men are incarcerated at a higher rate, and it was flawed, it's bad, I'm gonna break it down. Go ahead, page down. This is the statement that hit the media. You okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. This is a statement. It says basically 791,600 brothers were incarcerated and 603,000 were in post-secondary, in college. Got it? That's what the media got. That's why it went crazy. That's why all y'all say jail today. This was from 2000, okay? Page down. And what I do is fact check, especially with special interest, because you remember from the Viagra, special interest is trying to get paid. Got it? So this is from the Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice Statistics. In 2000, see it? Black men, there were 791,600, which is this page up. Remember? Same number. See it? See it match up? All right, page down one. This is U.S. Census Bureau. They're reporting black men enrolled in college in the year 2000. Y'all see it? What's that number right there? Can't see it? 815. And remember, I started this conversation, I don't like the Census Bureau, but 815,000 and 791,000 more is, even with the census and their troubles, is still more in college than in jail, right? Page down. So I go back to these fools, and I'm going to do fact check on them. Why do they say it's only 603, and why does the census say 815? Okay, I got to figure out where they got their numbers from. You remember how we looked at the bottom of that study before? Same thing with special interest. Page down. You go to the bottom of the study. This is just like that other stuff we saw with the doctor study. Remember acknowledgments and all that stuff? So I look and I go down and I say, where are you getting your information from? And it's right here. Department of Education, National Center for Education Statistics. I know them. Page down. I know that. That's the Department of Education. I love that data set. I live on that data set. This is not census. This is DOE, which always show more black men enrolled than the census does. Y'all got that? So I look, this is where you want to go. 12-month non-duplicated head count of institution activity, post-secondary. That's basically how many people are in college, non-duplicated. And this is the key right here, academic year. See that, 1999 to 2000? And what normally happens underneath here, you see a little checkbox. It says race. But in 2000, there was no checkbox. Y'all see it? No checkbox. But what I did see, oh, there's race. And then I saw this. These guys are playing a game. They took a full year of jail people, and they took only the fall enrollment of college people, put them next to each other, and they said it's more in. Is that a lie? Yeah. No, it's actually true. It's a misrepresentation of the facts. You understand that? But it's actually kind of true. But then I come back and show the whole year, and like, what are they doing? And everybody thinks I'm the crazy.
Well, my advice to Jenks Morton is make sure you can prove it. You know, when I was working on my PhD, one of the greatest signs of validity of any study is whether or not someone else can go in and get the same data and replicate the results that you got. If it's replicatable, then it's as credible as anything else that's out there. I think that what gives a tremendous amount of credibility to what you're laying out is the fact that you can point to a motive and a set of incentives that might lead someone to want to perpetuate an image or a stereotype that works to their benefit. So when I saw some of the numbers, you know, some of them I said, okay, what is this? But you know, if you can prove it, then I think that we should all be open-minded enough to accept the possibility that maybe things are not as traumatic and dramatic as we want to believe that they are.
Well, I mean, I think that overall we want to get the kind of resources that we need to help the people that we want to work with. And you know, when you write a grant proposal, the first thing you have to do is state the problem. You have to state the problem. And the more compelling your problem, the more funding you will get to fix the problem. And we need that funding. We do. You know, in the analyses that I do, I can paint the issues that we need to deal with without misrepresenting the information in a way that's going to deliberately undersell or deliberately oversell the problem. And I can put it in the type of space where it's being used responsibly and it's not being painted out there as an agenda for me to gain some attention or notoriety because I said the worst possible thing.
Is this lens, this statistical lens, more and it's not even true. Now who's benefiting from that?
I mean, who is benefiting from that? It seems as if, and this is the light bulb that popped up above my head a couple minutes ago, it seems that if everybody's benefiting from it but us.
Yeah.
Some of us might benefit from it.
Right, but who I'm speaking,
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Who I'm speaking specifically to is the folks in the community who are looking for funding to do certain things, who are going to grab every single negative statistic and not look for good statistics because good statistics don't help them out. I'm talking about, you know, whether it be the school systems or the Poverty Pimp Community Center or whatever the place may be, like all of those spots. They not only are looking for the bad statistics, and it seems as if they're making up the bad statistics, but also reinforcing false information.
Because, and if you're putting out there that these are the accurate numbers, then funding gets pulled back. You don't need my funding. You don't need my foundation. You just told me that such and such is graduating at a high rate, so we got to keep putting out that our program has successfully helped matriculate 84% of black males who don't have GEDs.
Break time. I'm ready to go. 1-800-765-3437 is the number. Street Soldiers, it's Black History Time. And it's time for you. We'll be back.
I've never went public with this. I've sat on this for 5 years because I'm a first-time filmmaker. I don't want to step on people's shoes. I'm trying to be Christ-like, but that game is like over with this movie. You understand this? This is the Justice Policy Institute receipts. In 2002, they received, and this is one funder. This is not all of it. From one funder, $41,940. 2002 is when the study came out. In 2003, that same funder gave them $76,000. It doubled for that BS study. Can y'all see that? The deficit model to black, if I put out bad news about black folks, I will get paid. I say this all the time. It's a dressed up version of this. I say that there are people and principalities that have a vested interest in and are compensated to misinform you so they can mismanage. Your mismanagement leads to your division leads to their profits. If you take one thing away tonight, understand that the strife that is put between black man and black woman is one of the most profitable sectors in the American economy. Think like a man. The single problem, the relationship problem, #1 at the box office.
Black male dropouts lead the nation in incarceration. On any given day, nearly 23% of all young black men ages 16 to 24 who have dropped out of college are in a jail, prison, or juvenile detention center.
A magazine study claims black women are unattractive. According to Psychology Today, not me, a controversial article was posted on their site entitled, "Why Are Black Women Less Physically Attractive Than Other Women?" Now, the article posted by blogger Satoshi Kanazawa is based on a study conducted in which several people were interviewed, number undisclosed, on the Scientific Fundamentalist blog.
Black men in the United States face a far more dire situation than is portrayed by common employment and education statistics. A flurry of new scholarly studies warn, and it has worsened in recent years, even as economic boom and a welfare overhaul have brought gains to black women and other groups.
Obesity has become a part of black culture. Among African Americans 20 years and older, more than 2/3 are overweight or obese. That's very adult and professional. Or obese, as defined by a body mass index, a BMI, MICA, of 25 pounds or more. Now, according to BMI charts, a woman who's 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighs 150 pounds, how tall are you and how much do you weigh? I'm sorry.
This is also from the Ebony Article, the ratio of college age, 18 to 24, 4 to 1. Y'all see it? 32% of black boys between 18 and 24, or 1 out of 3, is in college right now. 6.3, black men enroll in college higher than anybody except for Asian men, by gender. Does that make sense? So we go to school, enroll more than white men, and we enroll more than Hispanic men. Make sense? 25.1% of black men over the age of 25 have either an associate's, bachelor's, PhD, master's degree. 25% of them. Here's the one that gets me in trouble at HBCUs. Don't nobody throw nothing at me.
The ratio of men to women on Howard University's campus is about 1 to 13. It's ridiculous. It's a lot more women than men at these HBCUs.
What's the ratio of women to men on Howard? Like 18 to 1?
1 to... It's outrageous.
I would say 7 to 1.
What's like slim to 9 to 1?
Like 20 to 1.
13 to 1.
11 to 1. I'm gonna be optimistic and say 9 to 1.
Man, the ratio like 10 to 1. I think it's like 13 to 1.
Say so.
11 to 1.
It's 7 to 3. That's a lot of...
So that's almost 2 to 1.
No.
7 to 3 is 2 to 1.
And what kind of math is you doing?
What's the ratio of women to men on this campus?
I think what, 18 to 1?
3 to 6 is 2 to 1.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, 3 to
7 to 1 is what I
7
said.
to 1, you said 7 to 3.
I meant 7 to 1.
See,
Who was saying 3? I apologize.
It's horrible. I mean, they don't. It's so sad that there are not enough African American men here. It's ridiculous.
It's too much women to a little bit of men, and I love every bit of it.
What's the ratio of women to men on Howard University?
Ooh, too many.
I think it's like 11 to 1.
Like 9 to 2.
The ratio is 14 to 1.
18 to 1. 9 to 1.
The ratio is great, man.
What's the number, man?
It's like,
No,
like 1 to
down.
16.
No.
1 to
It's like,
16,
no.
but you gotta count.
No.
But you gotta count out
It's
the
like
week.
one.
Give me a number, please.
11 to 1?
No, I think it's 7 to 1. 7 to 1.
I thought it was 11 to 1.
I really don't care.
What's the number, man?
1,000 to 1.
Why you say 1,000 to 1?
It's a lot of women here.
I know it's a lot, but 1,000?
1,000.
Nah,
It's like 2 or 3 to 1. They posted it in a.
No, 2 to 1 wrong.
I read it in an article.
This came out in February, and I gotta be Christ-like. Do I have to preach tomorrow? Is that right? I'm preaching? Ernie Scuggs, that dude. Atlanta Constitution Journal comes out with this piece of garbage in February. Guess what? Look at the title. Look at the title. What's that say? Brothers ain't going to school. That's what it sounds like to me. Right? Right? Where the brothers? And it's going to be a narrative about sisters are doing it for themselves, all the independent women. Brothers ain't nothing but locked up, chasing white women on the down low. Y'all know that narrative, right? Remember, I didn't give y'all the rule. Here's the rule. I'm sorry, I left this out. Never trust a man who quotes a statistic that ends in a 5 or 0. 53% don't end in a 5 and 0. We okay, right? 56%. Jane's still good, right? What did he do right there?
10.
No. What is that?
0.
It ends in 0, and what else? He wrote it out.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
He wrote out 10. That tells me he got lazy as an investigative journalism, and he didn't even put the word about. I would have took about. or it's approximated.
Right,
I'll take that.
Right.
You know what I mean? That basically says, I couldn't find it.
Right.
You understand? No, he said 10% of black males who attend go to the, and then I'm like, I call BS, so what do? I go pull my numbers. 7.8. Black men are everywhere. Black men are at every kind of university except HBCUs.
What do you think the ratio of black females to males are enrolled in college? We've had 13 to 1, 4 to 1, 3 to 1, 2 to 1. It is actually 1.37 to 1. I know. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing it. Look. And here are the numbers. 3 to 1, 930,000 females.
I'm being handed the paper right
930,000
now.
females, 674,000 males. Enrolled. In college. 1.37. We didn't say graduated. We said 1. But that's a little over. That's not 2 to 1. That's 1.37 to 1. Okay.
You know, when I said 13 to 1, it's what it felt like in the classroom at the time. Now, maybe I was
They were all in the gym.
taking women's studies at the time, and I haven't.
I would bet.
And there's a lot of women in the room.
Just like us. Yes, sir.
More black men in
This was not on that list, but have you ever heard this one? Because I see this online a lot.
Yeah.
More black men in prison that were ever in slavery.
black men in prison today.
Have you ever heard that one?
That's not on this list.
But has anybody heard that one? Because as
I've
of a
heard
week
there
ago,
were
I
more
saw
black
that.
men killed and all. Yes, I've heard a lot of those. And here's the point. The point is, those things you hear, you need to find out if they're actually true. Because if you had walked into the barbershop, which is where we all, I'm going to come on here, and you pose these kind of questions, which is what this brother did, overwhelmingly, everybody said basically, oh man, all brothers are doing it. Brothers, more black men in prison, more. These are commonly held beliefs. And the reason I'm doing this is that Black History Month is all about getting the truth. We're finding out truths from the past, but maybe our present day truths are not true either.
Well, what is
But I want to say, too,
That's what we're trying to find out.
as you were asking the questions as we were going on, I started to think of how defeatist we think we are, how defeated, let me say that, I'm sorry, we think we are. And because even when I'm answering, I'm like, why do I feel the need to throw out high numbers on negative questions? Like, why don't I feel more empowered by, and that really resonated with me as we were going through that. And I think some of it has to do with what, and this is where it's going to get really heavy, I have to say this.
Yeah.
I think it has to do with what we decide to see in our people on a day-to-day basis. What we choose to pay attention to. We always getting shot. Somebody always having a baby. They always getting divorced and breaking up. And we make that our realities of what's going on versus what's really going on.
This happens everywhere I go.